The basics of life are sustained through the availability of water and food. While food production in the 20th century was linked mainly with the world's land resources, water, with its magical ability to stimulate production, will be the main driver of agriculture and food production in the 21st century. Sustainable management of the finite supply of fresh water to help produce adequate supplies of food will be a critical issue facing us in the near future. Irrigation, which takes place on just 17% of the Earth's arable land base, produces about 40% of the food required by today's population. With the world's population projected to increase to over 9 billion by 2050, agricultural production must be intensified. Irrigation is expected to provide about 80% of the additional food requirements. Alberta's irrigation industry will play a key role in both supplying food and developing the necessary technologies needed to feed the world. Most of southern Alberta is a semi-arid climatic region, with average growing season precipitation varying between 300 millimeters in western regions to less than 200 millimeters in southeastern Alberta. Growing season length varies as well, from a limiting 120 days in the west to 150 days of much more diversified crop production in the east. In the early 1900s, pioneers and corporate strategists began to divert water from the many rivers in the South Saskatchewan River Basin and deliver it to the farms and villages in the region. In the early days, irrigation canals and ditches were carved from the land using horse-drawn excavators and manual labor. Once the water reached the farm, a shovel was the irrigation farmer's most fundamental tool to help direct and spread the water over the fields. Today, a complex network of reservoirs, canals, and pipelines deliver water to an expanding area of irrigated fields in southern Alberta. Automated water management systems efficiently and effectively apply the needed water to an increasingly diverse range of crops.
The irrigation system is much different today than it was back in the 40s and 50s, especially how the reservoirs were managed and the irrigation was limited to surface or flood irrigation. The utilization of new technology has certainly changed the way water is managed and distributed. I can remember the struggle we had in determining how much water was available and determining when and where it should be delivered. Back then, the irrigation canals also needed constant maintenance and also daily inspection. Today, canals and pipelines are more reliable, and modern technology allows much of the monitoring to be done through computer links from a central office.
Today, approximately 650,000 hectares of land are irrigated in southern Alberta. About 84% of that is located within 13 organized irrigation districts, and the remaining 16% is comprised of individual producers or groups of producers irrigating directly from rivers and lakes. Nearly all of Alberta's irrigation water originates as snowmelt from the eastern slopes of the Rocky Mountains. This is where the journey begins. During the winter months, snowfall in the mountains accumulates as snowpack. This frozen reservoir of water determines, in a large part, how much water will be available. Low snowpack accumulations usually result in lower than normal runoff, with the potential for rationing of available water supplies. On the other hand, intense spring rainfall events have triggered major flooding conditions well beyond the ability of reservoirs to capture much of that water. In order to determine the potential volume of runoff water from these mountain watersheds, the snowpack and rainfall are continuously measured by a network of computerized monitoring stations operated and maintained by Alberta Environment.
The River Forecast Center compiles all the information that is gathered through our automated monitoring systems and field verification measurements taken by staff at key locations. We then process this data through our specialized forecasting tools to determine potential runoff and projected seasonal river flows. Through late winter and early spring, we publish monthly water supply outlook reports to assist water managers in determining potential water supplies. When the data is combined with current reservoir storage volumes, estimates of future river flows, and flood forecasts can be made.
Water management specialists with the Alberta government and irrigation districts work closely together to effectively divert, store, and deliver water to irrigation producers, towns, industry, and recreation users throughout this region of the province. They must constantly balance the stored and projected water supply with existing and projected demands. However, during times of prolonged drought, the finite supply of water may come under critical stress, and all users can be affected by water rationing. Nonetheless, water managers are always required to meet minimum in-stream flow requirements for the protection of the aquatic environment and to comply with interprovincial and international water apportionment agreements.
In Alberta, there are three principal sources of water that support southern Alberta's irrigation industry. These include the mountain snowpack, which serves as a frozen reservoir, water stored in on-stream reservoirs behind dams located on natural river courses, and off-stream reservoirs, which are water storage bodies constructed within natural land depressions away from the rivers. In years when river flows are low, the extensive network of reservoirs provides a buffer to annual watershed shortfalls. The off-stream reservoirs also help store and expedite the delivery of water through thousands of kilometers of canals and pipelines. Many of these reservoirs capture unused water conveyed from upstream canals, allowing water to be reused by downstream irrigators and adding to the conveyance efficiency of the water distribution systems. Computer models assist water managers in determining the opportunities to expand the irrigated area at manageable risk levels relative to potential water supply shortfalls.
To convey water from the rivers or reservoirs to the irrigators' fields, diversion structures plus a network of almost 8,000 kilometers of gravity-operated canals and pipelines is operated and maintained. Nearly all of the diverted water is delivered to farm enterprises within the 13 irrigation districts. These districts are cooperatives of irrigation water users within a geographic area, with legislative authority to manage the delivery of water to thousands of small, medium, and large farm operations. Each district is divided into conveyance network blocks that are operated by a designated water supervisor. Irrigators order water through their respective block water supervisor. The water supervisor then adjusts a variety of automated and manual operated control gates to divert sufficient water from a main supply canal or reservoir to the irrigation producer's field. A similar notice of shutoff is required before a producer can shut down deliveries to his irrigation system. Much of the canal system has undergone rehabilitation during the past few decades. Seepage, which is a significant problem with irrigation developments throughout the world, has almost been eliminated in Alberta through the lining of canals. Districts have also initiated programs to replace open canals with underground pipelines, thus eliminating evaporation and seepage losses and minimizing the return flow of unused water. Pipelines also make water less susceptible to contamination, require less maintenance, and provide better water control. The increased water savings and reduced maintenance can offset the higher capital investment in pipelines compared to open channels. Innovations in automated water control gates have also assisted greatly in getting the water to the irrigator in a more effective and efficient manner. Over the past 2 decades, new technology has allowed the irrigation districts to more efficiently manage the delivery and use of water. For example, through selective and accurate monitoring techniques, they now have much better information on the volumes of water entering and leaving their district and on how much water is being used by individual irrigation producers.
In the late 1980s and early 1990s, our return flow of water back to the river was more than 35% of what we diverted from the river. In recent years, as a result of continuing improvements in our conveyance system and changes in on-farm practices by our irrigators, our return flows have dropped on average to less than 20%. This savings alone in our district translates into enough freed up water to irrigate an additional 10,000 hectares of land. We are continuously upgrading and maintaining the canal system to further increase water conveyance efficiency. In some systems, for example, we have automated canal gates that maintain optimum flows and help ensure that water is delivered efficiently.
Once water is delivered to the field, it is the responsibility of the producer to apply the water to the crop. In Alberta, 85 to 90% of the land is irrigated with sprinkler irrigation systems. These sprinklers must be pressurized through pumping systems, which are powered by electricity, natural gas, or diesel fuel. In the future, pumping may increasingly incorporate a centrally located pressure pump station that is operated by an irrigation district or a group of producers. With this type of system, water is conveyed from a main canal to the pump station through a gravity pipeline. The water is then pressurized and distributed through an underground pipeline network to sprinkler irrigation systems owned and operated by individual irrigation producers. The pump station is highly automated, and a single operator can instantly monitor water deliveries to any of the irrigated fields supplied by the network. This pressure pipeline system replaces open canal systems, eliminating return flow, seepage, and evaporation losses. This type of system can be more cost-effective as it eliminates the need for individual producers to purchase, operate, and maintain their own pump systems. The days of applying water on a field using gravity or surface irrigation are nearly gone in Alberta. Since the advent of sprinklers in the 1950s, Alberta irrigators were quick to adopt this new technology. Today, low-pressure, computer-controlled pivots with drop tube technology dominate the irrigation landscape in southern Alberta. These systems have significantly improved irrigation water application efficiencies. Over the past 40 years, on-farm irrigation efficiency has increased from 45% to nearly 75%. These efficiency gains will continue as older irrigation systems are replaced with the newest technology.
The latest computer-controlled pivots allow producers to monitor and apply precise volumes of water to their crop. In fact, technology is so advanced now that not only are we able to bring water closer to the crop canopy by using low-pressure sprinklers on drop tubes, but producers are now able to start and stop their pivots or make adjustments to application rates using their home computer or cell phones. Digital maps can also be put onto a computer's operating system, and we can automatically adjust depths of water and apply based on topography and/or crop water requirements. The use of technology continues to increase water application and crop water use efficiency.
Producers committed to the latest irrigation technology must make a significant financial investment in order to purchase, maintain, and operate this equipment. These forward-thinking entrepreneurs realize that the long-term economic well-being of their farming operations depends on improving water use efficiency, reducing energy costs, and enhancing overall crop quality.
Our farming operation centers around the growing of potatoes that are to be processed into French fries for the North American and world markets. We feel these new computerized low-pressure pivots allow us to become much better irrigators, and we continually produce a very high-quality product for the local processors. The advantages of installing these state-of-the-art machines does not stop at crop quality and yields. By installing drop tube technology, we are applying irrigation water closer to the ground with virtually no runoff. This significantly reduces our energy requirements and labor costs and has improved the overall efficiency of our water management operations. For our production systems, using the latest in technology allows us to produce a superior potato crop, second to none in the world.
The evolution of the agriculture industry and the development of related technologies are only effective if producers are ready, willing, and able to adopt the latest technological developments. Awareness and training are important programs that allow irrigation producers to make informed decisions regarding the adoption of new technologies.
Applying the right amount of water at the correct time is critical to the producer's ability to achieve the highest crop quality. The success of the processing industry depends on the high crop quality standards Alberta producers have attained. For producers to know when to irrigate and how much water to apply, they need to know the amount of water that actually reaches the ground. New developments in soil moisture measuring equipment, in combination with advanced computer models, allows irrigation producers to more accurately determine when to irrigate and how much water to apply.
The economic impacts of irrigation are significant. Assured water supplies allow irrigation producers to diversify their crop production to meet the changing demands of the world marketplace. A large variety of specialty crops can be grown under irrigation that cannot be grown under traditional rain-fed conditions. More importantly, many of these diversified crops, including potatoes, sugar beets, corn, and other vegetables, can be processed here in Alberta for export to a growing world marketplace. Irrigation has also led to tremendous growth of the livestock industry in southern Alberta. Producers can convert relatively low-value crops, such as barley and forages, to higher-value meat products by feeding these crops to a variety of livestock. Alberta's irrigation industry has helped create Canada's largest beef cattle industry, which is the fourth largest in North America. The value-added processing of irrigation crops and livestock products is responsible for significant job creation and economic growth in both the urban and rural areas of Alberta. The irrigation industry is expected to play an even greater role in the diversification and growth of Alberta's agriculture industry. Irrigation producers benefit from several research facilities that carry out water management, agronomic, and crop production research. Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada conducts a variety of basic and applied research at the Lethbridge Research Station, one of Canada's largest such facilities. Alberta Agriculture, Food and Rural Development operates an irrigated crop diversification centre near Brooks, Alberta, and the Canada-Alberta Irrigation Development Centre near Lethbridge. The Irrigation Development Centre develops and demonstrates new irrigated crop production technologies and water management strategies. The site is designed to bridge the gap between small-scale research and full-scale farm production requirements. The major attraction of the center is that irrigation producers can see firsthand how new crops and technologies can be applied on their own farms. The field-scale demonstrations are implemented using machinery and irrigation systems that most irrigation producers own. Over the years, a number of special crops, forages, traditional grains, and oilseeds have been evaluated to measure the impact of improved water management and agronomy inputs. In addition, state-of-the-art soil and water measurement technologies are being assessed and showcased at the center. As a part of the center's overall goal to develop practices that yield higher water use efficiencies and productivity, a water measurement test facility was developed at this site.
As a major water user, the irrigation industry requires increased knowledge and awareness of the latest technologies in open channel flow measurement and control, and in the metering of water deliveries through pipelines. This flow measurement site provides a venue for demonstrating and testing the effectiveness and practicality of different flow measurement devices, and assists irrigation water users in selecting the most effective system for their specific applications.
Alberta's agriculture industry has a good reputation for producing high-quality, safe food in a clean and healthy environment. However, irrigation represents the most intensive agriculture industry in Alberta, and concerns about the environment are increasing as the irrigation industry continues to grow. It is important to ensure that land can be successfully irrigated in the long term. To meet this objective, all land in Alberta must pass a strict assessment before it is certified as being suitable for irrigation. This process ensures that only the most suitable land will be developed for irrigated crop production, and that long-term irrigation is sustainable. Soil salinity and waterlogging are significant soil quality problems in many irrigated areas of the world, currently affecting almost 40% of the world's irrigated land.
This used to be a problem in Alberta in the 70s and early 80s, when almost 20% of the irrigated land was affected by excess salinity and waterlogging problems. Improved on-farm irrigation systems, combined with more technically advanced and efficient water delivery canals, have essentially eliminated salinity and waterlogging problems in southern Alberta.
Water quality is the main environmental issue for Alberta's irrigation industry. The main concern is the potential impact of excessive nutrient losses in runoff from irrigated land to both surface and groundwater quality. The intensive livestock industry, located within the irrigated area of southern Alberta, is considered a significant source of potential contaminants.
The long-term success of the irrigation industry in Alberta will ultimately depend on how effectively we manage our natural resources. Water quality is a very important consideration today and is ultimately as important as irrigation efficiency if we are to ensure that the irrigation industry develops in a sustainable way. Alberta Agriculture is partnering with many government agencies, private sector organizations, and grassroots watershed groups to monitor the impacts of the irrigation industry on water quality and to develop beneficial management practices that producers can apply to minimize agriculture's impact on both surface and groundwater quality.
Irrigation water supply systems do more than just store and convey water for agricultural production. They also provide a more sustainable supply of water for rural municipalities, countless rural residences, rural water cooperatives, as well as a variety of industrial users, from food processors to oil field operations.
The development and growth of communities in southern Alberta are unquestionably linked to the delivery of a safe and reliable water supply provided by the irrigation network. The irrigation system delivers all our water for drinking, for cooking and cleaning, for utilities, and for all of our town's industries and recreation facilities. I think it's safe to say that without the irrigation water supply, many communities in southern Alberta would simply not exist or would be a fraction of the size they are today.
This water also enhances the development of wildlife habitat and supports a wide variety of recreational opportunities. Since the 1940s, millions of fish have been stocked in the irrigation reservoirs for the enjoyment of thousands of anglers. But it's not just aquatic creatures that depend on the irrigation reservoirs. An impressive variety of bird and animal species also take advantage of the habitat created by the irrigation network.
The introduction of irrigation to the semi-arid region of southern Alberta has created a new complex ecosystem. Partnerships between irrigation districts and conservation groups such as Ducks Unlimited and Pheasants Forever have created an extensive new habitats used by countless birds and animals. Over the years, in excess of 30,000 hectares of Ducks Unlimited managed wetlands have been developed using irrigation water, and more than 370,000 trees and shrubs have been planted through the Partners in Habitat Development Program. The Eastern Irrigation District, along with many cooperating partners, have long recognized the importance of this habitat. As a result, the EID has gone to great lengths to monitor, manage, and enhance these areas to benefit a host of wildlife species.
Alberta's irrigation industry is an important link in the development of a sustained, vibrant, diversified, and growing agriculture economy in Alberta. Irrigation water will also continue to play an important part of the social, recreational, and industrial fabric of our society. Sustaining the growth of the irrigation industry will be accomplished through the development of new technologies that allow producers to make informed decisions on making the best and most efficient use of our finite supply of water. Irrigation will be the cornerstone of the world's future food production. Alberta's irrigation industry and its application of leading-edge technology will play an important role in enhancing our ability to help feed a growing world population while improving the quality of life for Alberta's citizens through the magic of water.